iHeart, get ready. Fantasy football is here. Welcome to the Scout Fantasy Show. ScoutFantasy.com is home to the Fantasy Football World Championships and the best players in the world. Real money winners giving their secrets to help you win. Now exclusively on iHeart. This is the Scout Fantasy Show with your host, the one, the only, Dr. Roto.
Hey there, everybody. It's Dr. Roto. Get out the insurance cards. Get out the copay. The office is open, my friends. Today I'm going to talk a little game theory, and I'm going to do it in two different sports, in baseball and in football, and one I'm going to do it in seasonal, and one I'm going to do it in a daily format. So what I want to do with the game theory is just show you how you can approach the games and how to play maybe differently from your competitors. People tend to look at something in a very concrete way, and I think it is by allowing yourself to see things in different ways, you can now win. So, firstly, I want to talk about DFS baseball. And I may have mentioned this on these podcasts before, and that's so. I'm going to mention it again. So tonight, one of our my friends and listeners and followers has a free entry into the Deuces Wild contest on FanDuel. So it's a big contest. Winner's going to get a lot of money, $100,000, and it's a free entry. This is a very, very tough night. When you look at this slate, this is a brutal, brutal slate. So we've got to go with some game theory, and I talk about this all the time. I think there are three types of game theory here. One, do you go with an expensive pitcher on FanDuel, of which there are some very expensive ones? Jarrett Cole, Chris Sale, Trevor Bauer. Do you pay up for one of those guys? You might have to. He might have to pay up for one of those guys because if those guys give a 60 or 70 point game and you don't have that pitcher, you're not going to win. Now, cashing is fine. Okay? I'm sure if he cashes, he's going to be happy, but this is about making money. Right? So, option one in game theory is, do you go with the expensive pitcher? If you do that, your offense is, of course, going to be lacking, right? You're not going to be able to go with the stacks that you want to go with, right? And there's some terrible pitchers tonight, let me tell you, right? There's some disgusting guys out there tonight that you might want, right? Brock Stewart, I think, is pitching. Eric Lauer's pitching. Lance Lynn is pitching. You want to take advantage of these guys, but you know these stocks are going to be expensive. So you've got to be very careful with what you decide to do here because you want to pick on those pitchers. Those hitters are going to cost you a lot of money, right? Those hitters are always going to cost you a lot of money. But you need that good pitcher because if you don't have that good pitcher who gets you that huge start, you're not going to win money either. So part of the game theory is, do I go for the expensive pitcher and find the cheaper contrarian stacks? That's one way. Two, play it down the middle. Garrett Richards, Kevin Gossman, maybe Vince Velasquez. These are guys who have done Jameson Taillon. These are guys who are capable of throwing a gem. They're capable of throwing a gem. That doesn't mean they will. It doesn't mean they won't. It means on any given day, they can throw 8 innings, 2 hits, 7 strikeouts. They could give you the Cole and Sale game, but half the time, maybe a third of the time. When you play it straight down the middle with guys like those pitchers, Richards, Gossman, Velasquez, Taillon, then I may be able to get one good stack in and then one contrarian stack. So if I want to stack, I don't know, the Nationals against Eric Lauer, always a good idea. Nationals against a lefty, I get a little Rendon, a little Harper in there. Little Mark Reynolds action from last night. See what he does against lefties. I might be able to do that. Now, my third option is what I call, of course, the Erasmo, based after Erasmo Ramirez. Then I'm going to go down to like Trevor Cahill, Zach Wheeler, Luke Weaver. Try to find me a cheap pitcher, right? Try to find me the cheapest, best pitcher I could find and do a double stack of good offense. Now, here's the problem there. A, I need my double stack offense to be great. B, I need my pitcher to be great. Hard to do. All three ways are different game theories. Now, if he has multiple lineups, if he had multiple entries, obviously I tell him to do one of each. But if he only has one, what's the thing to do? What's the game theory? Well, I'll give you a for instance. You go into a store and there's the $5,000 TV set, the $3,000 TV set, or the $1,000 TV set. Let me tell you the TV set I'm not buying. I'm not buying the $3,000 one. I'm not. I'm either going to spend for the best one or I'm going to get the $1,000 one. Because I figure the $1,000 one isn't that much worse than the 3 and the 5 is really better than the 3. So I don't want to split the middle. Now that could be wrong game theory, but that's the game theory that I'm going to choose here in baseball. Now, in fantasy basketball, that in DFS, it may be different. Tommy G used to live by that theory. Take the guys in the middle, the $7,000, $8,000 guys. Don't do stars and scrubs. But in baseball, I think it's different. In baseball, if I have this one impact pitcher who could have a crazy good game, I could win. So, Chris Sale, when he puts up his 64 spot, already I'm halfway there to making money. If the rest of my hitters can just hit 100 points, I'm going to cash. So if I have one team to go in, all in, I'm going to spend it on the best pitcher, I think. I'm going to go for the $5,000 TV set. If I had a second one, I would go with the Erasmo. Because I think I'd rather go for the cheap pitcher and stack those lineups against bad pitchers and hope my guys hit. But I wouldn't want to get caught in the middle. That's my game theory here. So I hope my friend cashes. I hope he's my new rich friend. I could always use another rich friend because I could always use a loan. You know what I'm saying? All right, my second part of game theory is I want to look at seasonal fantasy football for a second. So one of our listeners sent a message on the message board. And remember, when you're a member of Scout Fantasy Sports, you're a premium member. You go on the message board. You know who's going to get this information? Me, Adam Ronas, Sean Childs, Matt DeLima, Matt Brandon, Scott Atkins. We're answering your questions. Not people you've never heard of. We are answering your questions. So this guy comes in, he says he's in an IDP league. Individual defensive players. Most people are not in IDP leagues. I'm in a couple. They're really good. They are really good. So this subscriber asked the question. He's like, look, I've got my offense, but, this defensive player is really worth more than Todd Gurley. What should I do? Well, it's called game theory. When everybody goes to the left, where should you go? The right. I swear by this in IDP leagues. Stack your defense and you will make the playoffs. I came into an IDP league in my first year. I took over a team that was in the second worst team in the league. In the first year, I made the playoffs. How did I do it? Build my defense. Everybody looks towards the offense. Quarterback, running back, receiver, tight end. I was looking at defensive line, linebacker, cornerback, and safety. Now, my offense was okay, but my defense was superior. Right? Then what do I do over the next couple of years? Well, in this league, in this dynasty league, work on my offense. But make sure that my defense is solid. I want to be the Baltimore Ravens defense when they beat the Giants in the Super Bowl. I want to be the Orange Crush defense. I want to be the New York Giants defense with LT. I want to be that good. And then I will let my offense be just good enough. But the game theory here is when everybody's drafting offensive players, you draft defense. Go to your league, see the point differentials. If Aaron Donald is scoring 580 points and the fifth best defensive tackle is scoring, 420, that's a 160-point difference. If Drew Brees is worth 500 points and Matt Stafford's worth 480, that's only a 20-point difference. So go get the defensive players. Go where people aren't. Live outside the box. If you live in the box, you're only going to be as good as the box is. So when you're at a draft, let's talk about this further, and you've got the 8th pick and the first 7 picks are running backs, do you want the 8th running back? Or do you want the first receiver? You got to think like that sometimes. Now, some people will say, well, if I don't get a running back, I won't get one. All right, maybe I won't, but I don't want the 8th. If I get the 8th running back and you've got the first, I'm already losing to you. You get my drift? You have to be different than your competition. Right? We hear this all the time. You've got to zig when they zag. If they're X, you be an O. How do you differentiate yourself if you don't? And if you don't differentiate yourself, how are you ever going to win? You want to win a GPP? Differentiate yourself. But don't be stupid. Be contrarian, but don't be nuts. So, the night that I came in 3rd overall in the moonshot, I had Aaron Hicks, who was like 2% owned. That was contrarian. I didn't have a team of contrarian hitters. So what I would love people to do is get one good stack and then a contrarian stack. Or in golf. Golf is a great one. If everybody's playing Jordan Spieth, if you know that 50% of entrants are going to play Jordan Spieth, if you don't play Jordan Spieth and he does poorly, you've gotten rid of 50% of your competition. Right? That's game theory. Now look, Jordan Spieth may win the tournament. That might be true. He may win. And if that happens, you lose. But if Jordan Spieth doesn't make the cut, or if Jordan Spieth isn't a top 10 finisher, you just took away 50% of your competition. So always look at what the chalk is doing. Always look at the chalk and try to go away from the chalk. That's how you win money in a GPP. In a seasonal league, if everybody's doing X, do Y. Zag when they zig. That's how you win. That's how you win. Be creative. Be different. Be successful. Be a visionary. All right, but right now it's time to put away the insurance cards, put away the copay. The office is closed, my friends. Back with so much more tomorrow, but before I leave, I need to tell you this. I want you to go to playffwc.com right now. I would love to see you in Las Vegas. I would. I'd love to meet you in Las Vegas if I haven't met you. And if I have met you, I'd love to see you again in Las Vegas. But if you can't get there, come draft online. Come draft in the World Championships. Come see if you could be the fantasy football world champion. Maybe you can. Maybe you'll be my rich friend. It's a great contest. And we do our best to make sure that the draft and your experience is an ideal one. Whether you're drafting in a ballroom, drafting in a suite, or drafting online, we want to make your experience fantastic. All right, and of course, don't forget scoutfantasysports.com. That's where you find me, Ronas, and Sean Childs doing our thing. All right, this is Dr. Roto saying be well, take care.
Thanks for listening to the Scout Fantasy Show. There's never been a better time to join the Scout Army. Visit scoutfantasy.com. Use the promo ROTO for 2 months free. And don't forget, fantasy players, please thumbs up the podcast on the iHeart app. See you next time. Go Scouts!